So I wanted to do the like credit card kind of a thing. I'm gonna probably have to do this over multiple videos because there is so much to unpack here that I feel like I can't do it in the 15 minutes that I have for each video because I'm not gonna give these fools any more information or upgrade my account. So there are people out there that tell you can't use credit cards. Now, I used to use cash only, and then I got credit, and I tried to use credit, and then I got married the first time, and my wife she was crazy she was just crazy. She could not save a dime. She had to spend on everything. She's a hypochondriac. She's living in the hospital. My credit was destroyed because, in most states, they take on credit or they go to the hospital and run up a bunch of medical bills. You're responsible for it as their spouse. So my credit was shot because of getting married. Before I got married, I actually was building up good credit. I had a credit card. I was paying it off. I paid off a car. And then I made the mistake of getting married. After I divorced that one decades ago, I decided I'm going to start getting my credit back and start working on my credit again. And in the meantime, I actually met my current wife in the early 2000s, and we ended up getting married in 2005. And thankfully, she doesn't spend. I have to practically force her to go buy herself new shoes and pants when she needs them. She'll say something about I need a new pair of pants, and then she'll wait for months, and it's like, why didn't you go get your pants? So because of that, I can work on our credit. I can work on the numbers, and she can. She doesn't go blowing the money behind my back like my ex did. You know what I'm saying? And so we're in this situation where I went from my ex-wife ran I believe my credit score with my ex-wife, by the time it was all said and done, by the time she was finished with me, it was probably below 500, and I think it was much lower than that. I think that given the numbers, it was probably about as low as you can possibly get. What I know is years later, I get with sometime later, I get with my current wife. I'm trying to straighten it out. I get a hold of the credit bureaus. I find what's on there. I disputed everything in sight, got a bunch of it knocked off. I think the people just decided they didn't want to deal with it, or they realized that, okay, this is not the person that charged it. The wife actually did all this. He's not really responsible for this, and I think that they just had some mercy on me. And anyways, by the time it's said and done, I didn't know hardly nothing. It might have been about $1,000. That was actually stuff that they felt like I should pay. And so I pay that. I'm done. Got a credit card. I got my very first credit card, which was the old Washington Mutual, which went down when the big run on the bank happened, and now they're Chase Bank absorbed them, I believe. And so I got a Washington Mutual card. They gave me a $2,000 credit limit. I got a Capital One card, just low-end cards with low credit amounts. Used them for every purchase. My credit score within a few months was like in the 600s. And I'm like, holy crap. And this is decades ago, a couple decades ago, right? And about a couple decades ago. And so I'm watching this, and I'm like, holy hell, this is actually working. I can build my credit back up with just using these credit cards. And so I told the wife, I said, what we need to do is to start using these for every purchase. She was scared to death of credit cards. She was like one of these cash only kind of people, and I'm like, no, let's just. So we got her credit cards. She's spending on her credit card. I'm spending on my credit card. We're making multiple payments each month, just paying them off as fast as there was a balance due, just paying them off. You come home, there's a $300 balance due, pay it off. Another $400 balance due because you bought groceries, pay it off. You got the time to sit down and pay it off, do you? You don't have to wait till the end of the month. I actually had a credit card guy. I called in one day for something, and he's like, you've paid 6 payments this month? And I'm like, yeah, I don't like carrying a balance. And so what this ended up resulting in, my credit usually runs about 825 to 830, somewhere between 820, the low 820s to 830 is where my credit, out of 850, just using credit cards. So anybody that tells you you can't do it with credit cards is just lying to you. The other thing is they'll tell you, well, you're going to have to be paying all these extra fees and all that. No, you don't. I don't pay anything. I don't pay a dime in fees. None of my cards require fees. The one card that did have a $50 fee per year, it was waived if you make one single purchase in a year. I believe it's not my U.S. Bank, Bank of America, maybe. I think it might be my Bank of America card where they have a $50 yearly yearly fee unless you make one purchase. You can go spend $3 getting a soda or a coffee, and boom, you don't have to pay the $50. And I believe that's the way it works because I've never paid the $50, not even once, right? They're going to charge more if you're using a credit card. You might find an occasional store where they say we charge a 3% fee, because I was just at one a couple times this week. And so in those cases, if I'm spending much money, if I'm spending $10, I don't give a rat's ass. If I'm spending, like I spent, the coin shop that I go to, I've spent thousands of dollars in silver and gold this month, and platinum. 3 ounces of platinum, that's $3,000. I spent about $7,000, I think $6,000 or $7,000 in silver, about $2,000 in gold, and they charge 4% if I use a credit card. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive about a block and a half down the street to the bank. I'm going to draw out the cash, and I'm going to go pay with that. Okay, that's not how most of them work. Anybody that's saying that is how most of them work, you're a liar. What usually happens, you go to Walmart, you get a product for $10. It's going to be $10 whether you pay cash or whether you use a credit card. Whether you accept this or not, you are paying the fee. So if I'm using a credit card and half the customers are using credit card and half the customers are using cash, the people that are using cash, you're still paying for those charges. You just don't know it. You actually think you're not. Unless they're literally charging extra and they say it, we're charging you 3 or 4% extra for this purchase if you use a card. You're all paying the fees together, so you may as well just use a credit card. Secondly, on that detail there, they have to be competitive. Walmart has to be competitive, or the store across the street, like we have here, they know you can just go across the street and buy it. Buy it over there. I can go shop over there. I don't need you. Walmart. I'll go down to Kroger. I'll go down to one of these other stores. So you either stay competitive, or I go somewhere else. Credit card charges is just like any other thing that's overhead. It is cost of doing business. I know. I'm a businessman. I take credit card payments. It's just part that I assume is going to happen. I take it into account. It's going to happen. And if it didn't, I'd still be charging you the same damn amount. I'd just be sticking a little bit more in my pocket, into my bank account. If you think that the prices are going up because of credit card use, you're out of your damn mind. They're going to charge those prices regardless. Eggs right now here are $2.79 a damn dozen. I'm going to pay that $2.79 a damn dozen whether I am using a credit card or whether I'm using cash. I could take my gold in there and they're going to want $2.79 worth of gold out of me. They're going to want the $2.79 regardless. Stop duping yourself because of these rich jackasses who are hypocrites, who are trying to tell you that using credit cards, the banks are out to get you. The bank or the boogeyman, they're out to get you. The bank's not the boogeyman, believe it or not. Think about this. They give you a card. I got a card with $16,000 credit. Now I've got a bunch of cards, but that's just one of them I use. Okay, so we got a card with $16,000 credit limit. Do you think they want me to run up $16,000 worth of credit on that? You think they're begging for that? Now some rich guy would tell you, oh yeah, that's why they give you the credit card limit, because they want you to charge it up and then be paying on it forever and ever and ever and amen. That's not how it works. People that charge those, that max out those cards, and I know because I got a friend right now going through the same thing, and I've got a number of friends who have defaulted on credit cards, and that's the magic word, default. The second you get over a certain percentage of like 30% on your credit cards, your credit score goes down. You know why? Because they don't want you using that entire credit all of your credit. If you're the type that's going to put $5,000 on a credit card and make the minimum payment, oh yeah, you're going to make them some money over a long period of time. But the problem is, if you are that sort, if you're the sort to charge $5,000 or $10,000, if you're and pay minimum payments, if you're the sort that is going to max out your credit cards, you are more likely to default in the first place. The banks don't want that. They don't want you defaulting, because then they lose money. Then now they got to go through the irritation. It's like getting evicted. These landlords will do whatever they can do to keep from evicting somebody. They'll let bad tenants stay because they don't want to evict anybody, because they know the hell and shitstorm they're going to have to go through if they evict a person. I've seen them drag it out, and I'm like, why don't you just evict this fool? Places that I've lived, like, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever, 40 years ago. Yeah, 40 years ago. Why don't you just evict this person? Well, because do you know what it goes? I actually had one of the landlords tell me, do you know what we have to go through to evict? She said it is $4,000 just to get started on an eviction. It's not worth it. We just kind of hope they leave in the middle of the night. They pack their stuff up and leave. We don't want to go through the eviction process. And that's kind of like the same thing with the banks. They don't want to have to deal with the default. What they want is you to use your card. They want you to carry a balance. They want to make that money on every individual little charge. They get that from the store. And unless the store charges you the 3%, but it's usually right out there in the open. They don't want defaults, because defaults means all that crap they got to go through, either trying to get their money or just having to write it off. That's not good for business. What's good for business is for you to use your card and pay it off, and maybe give them a little bit of interest in money. The banks aren't trying. They're not out to get you. They're trying to make money just like everybody else is. When you go to Walmart, what are they there for? When you go to buy a car, what are they there for? When you sign up for Netflix, what the hell are they there for? It's a business trying to make money. And you gladly give them your money without even thinking about it, don't you? So if you're using credit and you just happen to carry a balance over for a month or two or whatever, say you bought a big screen TV and you're going to make a few payments on it, and you give the guy a little extra for the loan that he gave you, that's okay. Credit card, they're there to make money. It's a business. You don't have to buy the Netflix, do you? You don't have to buy the expensive meat when you go to Walmart or you go to one of these high dollar stores, do you? You could have bought the cheap round chuck. You didn't have to buy the T-bone steak. That was up to you. The same thing applies to the credit card. You can either use it in a way where you're paying interest, or you're paying all those fees, or you can use it in a way where you're not. Cashback comes into play, and now that little 3% charge that you would have gotten, you think that they would have charged you over there, that little 3% charge is kind of negated a little bit by the cash back that you get. And so it kind of balances. It's like the scales, they're kind of balancing there. And my guess is if you have a situation where you are so worried about a percent cost difference, your financial situation might be that you probably should get some kind of financial advice from somebody that's been in your shoes to begin with, to try to help you through it. Because if you're worrying about a percent or something, when you make a cost and you're like, I can't use a credit card because it's going to be a little bit more or something like that, yeah, you probably need to cut the credit cards up, and you probably need to get somebody to help you with a budget. And I'm just saying that as somebody that's, because you obviously are cutting things down to the nickel and dime. In that kind of case, you need to get rid of the Netflix, you need to get rid of the computers, you need to get rid of the internet, you need to just live a very controlled, tight budget kind of a lifestyle. Y'all have a great day. I'll do part 2 of this.